So Salidra, we'll start with you tonight,
Okay.
and you both have different projects, and we're going to talk about both. But I'm interested to know if you'd give us what is going on in Tibet with you.
Well, I would love to start, Jill, with just a short story about what took us to this incredible journey. And it was a year ago, February. We designed this Taramala, and within days, I was having dinner with my friend Deborah, and she said that Lama Palden, who runs Sukha City Foundation, was having a nonprofit at Spirit Rock, and it was in honor of the Non-Chen nuns of Tibet, who I hadn't even heard of. So I talked to Palden and asked her if we could donate these, and
And these are bracelets you
these are
make.
prayer beads, actually, that integrate the spiritual tradition of Tibet with a more modern look, and they have the healing gemstones in them as well. So we sold all of them. We donated the money to the nuns, and I learned about these nuns for the first time.
And these nuns are in Tibet.
These nuns are in Tibet, and they are actually supported by Soni Rinpoche, who supports 3,000 of these nuns in about 30 nunneries throughout the area of Nangchen. I just fell in love with them. We started a nonprofit sponsored by Marin Link, and I decided, well, I had to go to Tibet. Lama Palden and I actually came up with this idea to start a self-sustaining cottage industry for these nuns so that they weren't completely dependent upon donations. So I submitted a proposal to Soni Rinpoche, and he granted me permission to go to Tibet. So that was in February, March, around that time. So I was like, okay, we need to have a benefit. We need to be able to get money to go over and make this happen. 14 volunteers appeared out of nowhere. We put on a benefit in June. We raised $10,000. I mean, I had never even been to an auction, and it was as though all of this was happening on a level that was so much bigger than I was, and it was just a very humbling and kind of awesome experience to be in.
So you were really the vehicle to bring the gift to the nuns,
Well, you
right?
could say that, but I really think the nuns were the vehicle. And it's like that, to me, part of the message of hope is, you know, my prayer was, like, what am I supposed to do in my lifetime? And having this come to me so quickly and clearly, and I knew it was so much more than me that was making this happen.
Well, what do you, because you really, for a living, you're a psychotherapist,
Yes,
right?
yes, right. And I had no intention of going to Tibet for my 60th birthday. I was thinking maybe Paris would be nice. So, so we had this benefit in June, raised the $10,000, and a week later, my friend Jeffrey Jewell, who agreed to be a videographer for the journey, we boarded a plane for Chening, China. And there we were. We didn't even have an address of where this nunnery was. And it had unfortunately started raining, which makes the roads very treacherous. And to make a long story short, we experienced, for me, the scariest hours of my life going up this steep, steep road. Our elevation was like 13,500 feet. And but we made it. And we made it to this nunnery, Getchak Nunnery. This is a picture of it. There are between 700 and 800 nuns
Living in that.
living here. And I want to tell you, such a magical piece of this is, it took 23 hours, the whole Jeep ride to get here. And when we got there and got out of the Jeep, the head nun came running down the steps, grabbed my hands, and I felt like she had been waiting for me. And it was like that. So these nuns, as I said, there's 700 to 800 living in this monastery.
It doesn't look like 700 or 800 people could fit in there.
They can't, actually. We found local Tibetan women who make the prayer beads. We took the prayer beads then and we put them on the altar here at Getchak Nunnery, where Sotni Rinpoche had requested that they sit on this altar for 30 days to be infused with the prayers and blessings of the nuns. And then our translator, Tashi, who became our project manager, sends the malas back to me, and then I sell them for $108, and we send the money back to Tibet and to these nuns. there are so many nuns in this area of Nongchen that are very impoverished, who have no heat. They have very, very scarce medical supplies. They don't have electricity. This is a dear nun. She doesn't know how old she is, but
I was going to say, how old is she?
she's pretty old. And during the Cultural Revolution, so much damage was done to the monasteries and the nunneries, of course. And there is the age range between about 40 and 60 where there aren't any nuns, and so many of them were lost during the Cultural Revolution.
When you say lost, what do you really mean? Killed?
I mean, either, yes, killed. Yes, 3,000 nuns were killed in the area of Nongchen alone.
Mm.
This one beautiful nun right here, she hid up in the caves in the mountains, and she survived. She came back to Getchuk, and they are working as much as they can to bring back the monastic life there. Many of these nuns live in 3 by 3 foot boxes, and they simply pray. They pray every moment of their days.
What are they praying for?
They are praying. They are praying for, you could say, the enlightenment of all beings. Their every moment is dedicated to compassion and love and the healing of the planet. And it's as though they create a vibration that we all feel, no matter who. It doesn't have anything to do with being Buddhist, of course.
Yes, well, I'm so glad someone's doing this for us, right?
Exactly, exactly.
We need it badly.
Exactly.
Well,
And-
I'm just curious because are you a Buddhist?
You
What
know,
drew you
I
there?
meditate, but I don't think it's about Buddhism. It's about compassion and healing, and you know, as the Dalai Lama says, finding that place within us to be happy for no reason. One of the amazing, magical things that happened was that my friend Jeffrey, who came with me, wasn't really a videographer, but he did a great job. We were sitting there at Getchuk Nunnery, and the Rinpoche there, I kept saying, what do you really need? What do you need? What do you need? Well, obviously, 700 to 800 nuns cannot live here. And he said, these women don't even have a room to come and pray together, which is the foundation of that kind of life, much less have enough housing. And so he said, what we really need is a building. We need like a monastery. Jeffrey and I looked at each other. He happens to be a non-profit builder. And it was like that was one of those moments, like the
heavens opened up.
The heavens opened up, exactly. So we are currently in the process of building the first green monastery. And Soni Rinpoche is so happy, and we'll use it as a prototype. So that's something that we're going to be starting with the building market. It's been slow getting going. But that is our dream and our vision, to build a green monastery right there at Getchuk Nunnery.
Well, that's a message of hope.
That is a message of hope. Yes, absolutely, Jill.